Today, we're diving into the wild, complex story of a country once part of India. Born thanks to a man who never visited it, this place fears vaccines, sees parents send kids into servitude, and is the only Muslim nation with nuclear weapons. Here are 10 jaw-dropping facts about Pakistan. First, hit subscribe and ring the bell. It tells YouTube this channel's worth boosting. Ready? Let's go! Pakistan's story starts in 1947, when the British Empire left its Indian colonies. Modern Pakistan was then part of India, mostly home to Muslims who clashed with Hindus. To avoid chaos, the British decided to create Pakistan, a Muslim state with its own rule. Enter Cyril Radcliffe, a British lawyer tasked with drawing Pakistan's border. Problem? He'd never been to India and knew nothing about its people. With just outdated maps in 5 weeks, he drew a 3,000-kilometer line. It was a mess, cutting through villages, homes, even farms. Neighbors were split overnight. The result? The largest migration in history. About 15 million people fled across the border to join their faith side, but it turned violent. Religious clashes made it a bloodbath. Trains arrived with dead and wounded. Villages burned. Death toll estimates range from hundreds of thousands to 2 million. That chaos still echoes in Pakistan today. Pakistan's founder, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, dreamed of a peaceful Muslim homeland where minorities were respected. But he died in 1948, and his vision faded. Politicians fought over power, debating if Pakistan should be secular or strictly Islamic. The chaos of its birth never settled. Worse, Pakistan began as 2 parts, West and East, split by India's vast territory. They barely connected. When a 1970 cyclone killed hundreds of thousands in East Pakistan, the West's slow aid left the East feeling betrayed. By 1971, after a brutal war, East Pakistan became Bangladesh. Pakistan's messy start fuels its contradictions today. Pakistan is a land of extremes. Strict religious laws coexist with cutting-edge labs. Progressive ideas clash with ancient traditions. This all stems from that sloppy 1947 border drawn by a man who didn't know the land. It's a country shaped by its chaotic birth, a place where history's scars and modern ambitions collide in fascinating, unpredictable ways. In Gujarat, Pakistan, a haunting sight roams the streets. People with tiny heads, their skulls underdeveloped, minds stunted. These microcephalics are shockingly common here. Is it radiation? Chemical weapons? No. The cause is darker. Superstition, ignorance, and greed. An ancient shrine in Gujarat holds the key. Local lore says childless couples must visit, offer gifts, and vow their firstborn to the temple service. Break that promise, and a curse will deform all their children. Terrified, parents hand over their first child to the shrine, believing they're saving their family. What happens next is horrific. These children fall into the hands of criminals, who clamp their skulls with brutal devices for hours daily. The result? Deformed heads and severe mental disabilities, called rat children. They're told their condition is divine, not man-made cruelty. These kids are forced to beg on Gujarat streets. Local beliefs deem it a sin to ignore them, so people give generously, even feeling blessed when the children pray for them. For the criminals, it's a goldmine. The kids are trapped, their suffering fueled by the same superstitions that doomed them. This is what ignorance and blind faith can do. Parents, driven by fear and tradition, hand their children to monsters, condemning them to pain and servitude. It's a stark reminder. Superstition doesn't just deceive, it destroys lives, chaining these rat children to a cycle of exploitation. Pakistan stands alone as the world's only Muslim nation with nuclear weapons, a chilling distinction born from rivalry and fear. Its archenemy, India, sparked this race by testing a nuclear bomb in 1974. Until then, Pakistan, at least officially, focused on peaceful atomic energy. But India's move changed everything, pushing a poor, technologically lagging nation to pour its resources into building a bomb. Western intelligence quickly caught wind of Pakistan's plans, and sanctions slammed down hard. The U and others feared an Islamic nation with nukes for good reason. First, they worried the bomb could spread to other Muslim countries. Worse, it might fall into the hands of Islamic terrorists. And with Muslim nations often rocked by political upheaval and regime changes, the risk of losing control was sky high. Sanctions cut Pakistan off from critical tech, everything from high-strength centrifuge bearings to specialized vacuum gear. But Islamabad wasn't about to give up. Enter Abdul Qadir Khan, a metallurgist who became the mastermind of Pakistan's nuclear dreams. Khan had worked in Europe, studying gas centrifuges that spin uranium to weapons-grade purity. He smuggled their blueprints back home, breaking every rule in the book. In a secretive complex near Rawalpindi, called Kahuta, Pakistan's nuclear ambitions took shape. The sign outside claimed it was a chemical plant, but inside, cascades of centrifuges hummed 24/7, enriching uranium for a bomb. Pakistan's defiance and ingenuity turned a sanctioned nation into a nuclear power, forever altering the global stage. Pakistan's nuclear program was a global scavenger hunt, with parts sourced in secret from every corner of the world. Agents dodged customs checks with cunning, ordering embargoed bearings through European front companies, disguised as parts for food processing lines. Heat-resistant alloys, shipped through Dubai, labeled as desalination gear. This black market hustle ran for nearly a decade. Sanctions only tangled the logistics, never halting the mission. Pakistan's web of agents spanned the globe, snagging critical tech and components. In 1979, the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, Pakistan's neighbor, and handed Pakistan a golden opportunity. The U.S. needed a strong ally to counter the Soviets, and Pakistan fit the bill. Overnight, America eased sanctions and turned a blind eye to Pakistan's nuclear ambitions. This green light supercharged the program. By the late 1980s, Pakistan had enough enriched uranium for several warheads. The stage was set for a historic leap. India's nuclear tests in May 1998 lit the fuse. Pakistan refused to stay in the shadows. Just 17 days later, they detonated 5 underground charges in the mountains. With that, Pakistan became the world's 7th nuclear power, and the only Muslim nation with the bomb. Today, experts estimate Pakistan has 160 to 180 warheads. It's a fraction of Russia's or America's arsenals, but enough to unleash catastrophic war. Yet fears linger. What happens if Pakistan's government falls or radicals try to seize the stockpile? Pakistan, the only Muslim nation with nuclear weapons, owes its arsenal to the brilliant but controversial Abdul Qadir Khan. After building Pakistan's bomb, Khan didn't stop. He turned his shadowy supply chains into a global black market for nuclear tech. This wasn't just science. It was a high-stakes game of secrets and deception. It began in the late 1970s, with Pakistan under crippling sanctions. Khan's team sourced parts through Dubai, Malaysia, and Switzerland, masking centrifuge components as chemical plant gear. Once Pakistan had its bomb, Khan had something unique to sell, and buyers lined up. In 1987, Iran scored centrifuge blueprints, rotors, vacuum pumps, and a guide to build a 50-machine cascade, all in a Dubai suburb. The payment? Wired to an offshore account in Liechtenstein. The shipment? Labeled as pumps for a desalination plant. Libya's Muammar Gaddafi was next, dreaming of his own bomb. He paid $100 million, 1980s money, for a turnkey nuclear facility. Containers arrived packed with aluminum tubes, copper coils, and converters labeled food industry parts. North Korea, cash-strapped but rocket-rich, bartered ballistic missile tech for Pakistan's rotors and software. Shipments were logged as cable equipment. Khan's team even trained North Korean staff, posing as cement factory consultants. This clandestine network thrived for 15 years. Parts were split into small batches to avoid suspicion. Routes shifted, money flowed through offshore accounts, and fake companies covered the paper trail. Pakistan's name stayed off the books. But in 2003, British intelligence intercepted a ship carrying rotors to Libya. Gaddafi, spooked, spilled the entire scheme. The IAA traced it all back to Khan. In February 2004, Khan went on Pakistani TV, admitting he'd helped Muslim friends and offering an apology. Pakistan's president placed him under house arrest, a move that calmed global outrage while protecting them. father of the bomb. Khan lived under watch for 17 years, but his network lingered. Thanks to him, North Korea built its own nukes. Fortunately, other buyers, like Iran and Libya, failed to do the same. Khan's legacy is a chilling reminder of how one man's genius can reshape the world's dangers. In April 2011, police in Pakistan's Punjab province stormed a tiny shack in a quiet village. Drawn by neighbors' complaints of a stomach-churning stench, the local officer assumed an elderly resident had passed away. Instead, they found a large pot simmering on the stove. Inside, a human head. This gruesome discovery unveiled the horrific crimes of brothers Arif and Farman Ali. These unemployed drifters scraped by on handouts and the occasional stolen goat. But their secret was far darker. They were raiding fresh graves at the village cemetery. They'd dig up bodies and feast on them. That night, they targeted a child's grave. The child's mother, hearing odd noises from the cemetery, alerted the police. The brothers were caught red-handed, confessing to devouring at least 100 kilograms of human flesh over 2 years. Their first taste? A baby's body, chosen out of curiosity because they thought it'd be tenderer than goat meat. Soon, the cemetery became their marketplace. Pakistan's legal code had no specific law against cannibalism, so the brothers got just 2 years for grave desecration. Released in 2013, they faced a village in uproar, demanding their exile. Authorities, under pressure, searched their home and found a sack containing a woman's leg. This time, a new charge was slapped on: antisocial terror. The brothers were sentenced to life. At trial, experts debated, was this madness or a twisted religious act? Doctors found no clear psychosis. The brothers knew exactly what they were doing. Neighbors recalled their eerie childhood habits, always aloof, lingering at the slaughterhouse, mesmerized by butchered livestock. In a nation with nuclear weapons and Wi-Fi, this 21st century horror story shocks. Yet, such monsters lurk even in developed democracies, proving darkness knows no borders. In the rugged lands of Pakistan, Uzbekistan, and especially Afghanistan, a sinister ancient tradition preys on teenage boys. It's called bacha, and it's as heartbreaking as it is horrifying. Wealthy men dress young boys in vibrant women's clothing, parading them as dancers at exclusive all-male gatherings. After the performance, these children often become sexual playthings for the host or his guests. For the men, owning a bacha is a status symbol. Milhos a flaunting of wealth that says, "I can afford a servant who doesn't lift a finger for labor." In Pakistan's mountainous regions, poverty sets the trap. A middleman approaches a desperate, debt-ridden family, offering cash and a job for their son as a dancer. Out of desperation, the family hands over a boy, condemning him to modern slavery. In mere weeks, he's taught choreography, graceful gestures, and a forced smile, trained to stay silent and obey. These boys, often as young as 12, lose their childhood to exploitation. Pakistan passed a law in 2018 criminalizing the sexual exploitation of boys, but laws on paper mean little without enforcement. Cases are rarely filed, and when they are, they fizzle out quickly. The only real pushback comes from religious clout. When a prominent mufti declared bacha haram or forbidden, many patrons scramble to free their dancers, fearing the label of heretic. Yet the practice persists, fueled by 3 grim pillars: poverty, impunity, and the demand for status. Over the past decade, bacha has waned significantly. In Afghanistan, the Taliban's return to power brought a brutal response: a death penalty for those caught. But don't be fooled. Demand among wealthy men keeps this vile tradition alive, simmering underground in secret. As long as desperation and power imbalances exist, bacha will haunt these lands. Imagine a place where a single accusation can end your life. A place where insulting religious feelings isn't just a crime, it's a death sentence. Welcome to Pakistan, where blasphemy laws fuel a terrifying epidemic of fear and vengeance. Accusations often start with a whisper, a neighbor's tip, a rival's grudge, or even a police sting. And the consequences? Devastating. Here's how it works. A man meets a woman online, charmed by her flirty messages. She asks for blasphemous images, claiming they excite her. Eager to please, he sends them. But there's no woman, just a cop on the other end, baiting him into a trap. That single screenshot is enough to seal his fate in court. Judges, terrified of mob backlash, rarely hesitate to convict, even on flimsy evidence. A not guilty verdict? It could cost them their lives, torn apart by an enraged crowd. These laws are weaponized daily. Neighbors settle scores, relatives betray kin, and political foes eliminate rivals with a single accusation. The mere rumor of insulting the prophet can spark a lynching before a trial even begins. Mobs, driven by fury, have killed alleged blasphemers on the spot. Reforming these laws? A pipe dream. Even suggesting milder penalties can brand you the next target, caught in a vicious cycle of accusations. Pakistan's blasphemy laws are a chilling paradox in a modern world. They thrive on fear, division, and unchecked power, turning whispers into death warrants. Efforts to change them drown in outrage, leaving a nation trapped in a cycle of violence and dread. Pakistan, a land where ancient beliefs keep a deadly, near-eradicated disease alive, polio. This isn't just ignorance. It's a tragedy rooted in a colossal blunder by spies. In 2011, the CIA ran a fake hepatitis vaccination drive in Abbottabad. Posing as doctors, agents collected blood from kids, hunting DNA to confirm Osama bin Laden's hideout. The mission worked, but the truth leaked. To Pakistanis, it was proof. Vaccines are a front for espionage, a Western plot. The fallout was swift. Local preachers fanned the flames, warning, "Don't let white-coated strangers in. They'll sterilize your kids." In the Northwest's tribal zones, Taliban clerics issued a fatwa. Vaccines are a conspiracy against Muslims. Rumors spread of microchips, pig fat, and vaccines making girls infertile and boys beardless. Fear took hold. Vaccination teams, mostly rural women volunteers, became targets. Since 2012, extremists have killed at least 95 medics and guards. Polio is surging. Where vaccination rates drop below 70%, paralyzed children appear. Misinformation and distrust are crippling lives. This is what happens when conspiracy theories win. It's a stark lesson. Lies and fear don't just mislead, they kill. So, here's the question. Should we force progress on communities that resist, like Pakistan's anti-vaccine strongholds? Or is pushing good against their will doomed to backfire? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. Your engagement boosts this video. So let's get the conversation going. In the old military garrison of Landi Kotal, Pakistan, stands an acacia tree, shackled in chains like a prisoner. A sign nearby tells its bizarre tale. "I'm under arrest. A drunk British officer thought I was moving and ordered me chained." The sign gets refreshed, the chains replaced, but the tree? Still standing, alive, and going nowhere. The story begins in 1898. A British officer named James Squid, 3 sheets to the wind, stumbled upon this acacia. In his boozy haze, he swore the tree was sneaking around, up to no good. So, he did what any tipsy colonial officer would do. He ordered it arrested. His soldiers, without batting an eye, slapped chains on the tree, filed the paperwork, and officially declared it a detainee. Over 120 years later, the acacia remains in custody. When the British left, no one bothered to unchain it. Maybe they forgot. Maybe they left it as a monument to colonial absurdity. Or perhaps no one could find the official order to set it free. Whatever the reason, this chained tree has become a quirky tourist hotspot. Visitors flock to snap photos of the world's only jailed acacia, a living reminder that truth is often stranger than fiction.